Welcome to Postscript. Here we hope to answer your questions and help you dig deeper into the messages and sermons at Faithbridge by talking with the teacher of the day.
Hello and welcome to Postscript. My name is Adam McIntire and I'm joined today by Pastor Dan Slagle, who just finished his sermon called The First Missionary. Dan, thank you so much for being here with us today.
You bet.
So the first question we have is, in your sermon you mentioned a lot of different ways in which we can kind of go through the process of sanctification.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about how we could be more generous with our time, our money, learning how to love people better.
Right.
That can be overwhelming, maybe, for some people who maybe haven't got started on any of those things.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the process of sanctification, what that looks like?
Yeah. That is overwhelming to a lot of people. There is a misconception out there that our growth in Christ should be up and to the right in a straight line. But it never happens that way for anybody.
Sure.
For one thing, there are just a multiplicity of areas in our life that need to be surrendered to Jesus. And we're only able to work on, a handful at a time. Yeah. So, maybe our marriage has made it this far, but our thought life is only this far. Right. And maybe our work habits are this far, So I would hate for somebody to walk away from this message feeling as though, oh my gosh, this is way too much for me. I could never... God can do a lot with a little.
Right.
And He has a way of bringing to our attention the area that He wants to work on right now.
Right.
Sort of the most pressing issue.
Yeah.
A danger there, if I may digress a bit, is often we get bored.
Right.
We get tired.
Yeah.
And we want to, but, in my experience, God will keep us kind of right there until, we're moving along,
right.
And then He moves to other areas. But no need for discouragement.
Right.
Step at a time, day at a time.
Absolutely. And you mentioned in your sermon how one of the things that we should be focused on is just being proactive in following Jesus. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah. It may be symptomatic of our culture at large, but I think it's also very symptomatic of our sinful state. Christians can be very lazy, especially with regard to spiritual growth.
Sure.
We just want it to happen.
Right.
Well, the Bible is clear that God is always opposed to earning. We can never earn His love.
Right.
It's free. It's a gift of grace.
Right.
But God is never opposed to effort.
Sure.
He expects us to work. Work out your salvation.
Yeah.
We're not working for our salvation. We have received it, and the response is to work as hard as we can in the areas that need work. And so there has to come a point where we decide on a macro scale, yes, I'm going to do this. And then on a micro scale, the individual areas, we've got to proactively go after them with a great deal of intentionality, right. And do what needs to be done.
Absolutely. And so don't become overwhelmed at all of the areas in which we need to look more like Christ. Yeah. And instead, just be proactive, one step at a time. Can you give us some practical ways in which we could be proactive in following Jesus and serving others?
Absolutely. One of the great blessings of Faithbridge Church is that we have always been an outwardly focused church. Mission has always been a primary emphasis here. And we do it in as many different ways and many different places as a church can.
That's right.
We have our nonprofit, Bridging for Tomorrow, that gives people opportunities to go into some very difficult, poverty-stricken situations and make a difference. Yeah. We have other local mission opportunities just through our local bridging ministries, working with nursing homes, right. Among other things. And then we also have The Road, which is our overseas missions. I think we've got 54 trips planned for 2017. Yeah. So, there's room for everybody. Right. If going overseas isn't your cup of tea, plenty of stuff to do right here.
Absolutely.
All you have to do is get in touch with the bridging office, and we will help you find your place.
Absolutely. And I kind of want to consider that a challenge for everybody
Yeah.
watching today. If you are not serving yet, get in contact with Bridging for Tomorrow either through the website, or you can talk to them in person on a Sunday morning, and then consider joining the road. It's really is an incredible opportunity. If you don't know, if you're kind of shaky about it, I want to encourage you to come on January 4th to Missions Kickoff.
Right.
You get a better sense of what it's all about. Pastor Dan, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you all for joining us. We will see you all next week.
Thanks for joining us for Postscript. Help us keep the podcast interactive by submitting your questions during the morning services. Learn more at faithbridge.org/postscript.